Hello my soccer universe, to a review of Serie A round 22, or as I would like to call it, prelude to madness. However, I think this prelude might be better than the madness that we follow next week with a few huge games on the top and on the bottom of the table. We had, of course, Napoli putting a huge stamp on their Scudetto hopes, beating Juventus at home 2-1. Similar statement win as they did 2 years ago, right around the same time of the year. Then we had a huge win for Firoentina, who win at Lazio, meaning that they're in contention for the Champions League spot. Speaking of which, the latest Opta model said that there's a 75% chance that Serie A will get again this 5th Champions League spot. Premier League more or less have sewn it up, so it's between Serie A and La Liga. So 75-25, huge wins for Italian teams over Spanish teams to actually put more emphasis on that claim. Meaning that the two teams that are really scrambling for the Champions League, the two big teams, Juventus and Milan, actually have a safety net, if you would like, and they also control it if they have good performances in Europe, as they did have last week. Yeah, Juve much less so. Milan though still doesn't look convincing, but get an absolute mad win at home over Parma. However, I don't know what to make of that one. The performance was not good. The newfound attitude under Conceição of turning a defeat into victory, that is something notable, as is the spat after the game between Calabria and Conceição. And on the bottom, yeah, Venezia and Monza more and more crystallized themselves as the biggest favorites of going down, which is unfortunately a little bit sad. I'm especially sad for Venezia because I always like to see games there. But let's jump right in, let's go game by game, and we'll start on Friday evening in Torino. Cagliari's New Year's winning streak came to an end in Torino. Two Shea Adams goals, one in each half, gave Torino, middling Torino, the win. Sadly, a Lazaro goal was disallowed in the 49th minute, so the Austrian player still without a Serie A goal. Saturday afternoon saw Retegui demonstrate his great goal-scoring form, giving Atalanta a comeback win, 2-1, scoring both goals in the process, both very much poachers' goals, after Como had actually a 1-0 halftime lead thanks to a Nico Path goal. And then De Ketelare had a goal disallowed because there was a handball involved in there as well. So Atalanta bouncing slightly back. And in the evening, Empoli took an early lead through Lorenzo Colombo in the 24th minute. However, Bologna rather sturdily came back, got the equalizer through Dominguez, and in the second half were even pushing for the winner. However, Empoli is not a side to be easily broken down. It ends with a 1-1 draw, which of course was good news for other teams fighting for this 4th, potentially 5th Champions League spot. However, all eyes on Saturday were on the early evening kickoff between Napoli and Juventus. Back when Napoli won their last championship, a big 5-1 win over Juve was the exclamation point that everyone knew. Now Napoli are gonna become champions. This maybe had not the same effect, but it was still an impressive performance and an impressive turnaround for Napoli in the second half. Because in the first half, arguably, Juventus were a little bit better. Kenan Yildiz could have given Juve the lead. Yes, Anguissa misses with a free header. There was another chance for Politano in there as well, but then Juve actually, who were in the game, got the go-ahead goal when a ball comes off Anguissa into Colomuani, playing his first game for Juve, putting into net for the 3rd minute. Juve take the lead, and the shock in the Maradona was palpable there. However, in the second half, Napoli came out storming, and Juventus suddenly were not on the pitch anymore. Absolutely flat performance. A little bit of a stunner, that one as well. However, I don't want to take much away from Napoli, who really put Juventus to the sword. And if it wasn't for a great Di Gregorio save, I think this could have gotten really, really ugly. But when that save came, I think it was from a header on Lukaku, I really thought, Napoli, this is not their game. However, then Politano crosses in and Anguissa heads it in, free header, and then the celebration I also like, kind of just standing there and soaking it all in. And then 10 minutes later, it's a stupid penalty foul and Lukaku slots it home for the winner, and Juventus really didn't have a chance for an equalizer. It's a huge win for Napoli, a confidence booster, and their chest is getting pumped out. Counter sides with a week to prepare are always dangerous. Easily the wildest game of the weekend was Sunday's early kickoff between Milan and Parma. So many storylines. However, my takeaway is that Milan still do not look convincing. However, they show some guts and some sort of newfound attitude where they can turn around defeat into victory. At least this is something. And then the whole storyline went into the post-match stuff. But I want to focus on the game where I unfortunately couldn't watch the first half hour, but at least then I was fully on. I didn't see that Leao was not that great, and I also didn't see initially, but saw it in the highlights, the go-ahead goal for Parma through Cancellieri, where Theo Hernandez just slips badly. Yes, it is not good on him, and he probably should have had his footing, but I don't want to give the goal solely on Theo, because there was a full attacking move by Parma ahead of that. Still, Theo, relatively flat. I guess it can happen, that's what Conceição said, but both of them were yanked at halftime. However, fortunately, at halftime, the scores were already level because man of the match, Strahinja Pavlovic, was kind of fouled by Suzuki with a push in the back. Yes, it was a softish penalty, but Christian Pulisic gets the equalizer. Second half, as I said, the two stars were yanked. Bennacer comes on, Bartesaghi comes on. Bartesaghi actually had a pretty good game. Conceição, in that sense, did everything right. And for the first 50 minutes, I even want to say that Milan actually tried actively, but then it became the same stale game that we've seen so often, and opponents already know. If you play at Milan, you just need to sit deep because they have no means of breaking you down. And then you just need to hit them on the counter-attack, and one such counter-attack in the 8th minute gives Parma the lead through Del Prato. And that came at a point where I actually thought, yeah, and the dangerous players for Parma already off. Nah. Needless to say, I was quite grumpy for most of the second half. However, then, it's a Pavlovic header that seemingly had given Milan the equalizer in the 88th minute, and he would have so deserved it because he was truly the man of the match. Some great defensive moves, but also in the offense. Very instrumental. However, he was in an offside position when the cross came in, so it didn't count. I thought, yeah, there goes another game. And it's another big blow for Milan after everyone around them dropped points again. And then it is Yunus Musa playing a really nice ball that Reinders himself actually recovered, and he runs into the box, takes a really nice touch and a very thoughtful shot into the net, 92nd minute. It's an equalizer. There was enough stoppage time there that you could hope that Milan might get a win, but as so often, it doesn't come. But this time it did come, and it's Pavlovic who assists Chukwueze, who takes a shot where Suzuki is really not doing well, kind of punches it into his own net, and Milan get an unlikely win. And in all the emotion of that win, Sergio Conceição makes a beeline to Calabria, confronts him, and they fight on the pitch, need to be held apart. What's happening? I mean, on one side, I think Conceição is really trying to stamp his authority onto the team, but you also see that he's an absolute madman. But he at least gives Milan some winning mentality that has to be fostered now. But on the other side, do these things in the locker room, not on the pitch. But I guess if you have a Conceição as a coach, you need to live with all the good and the bad that he's doing. And I guess the team will come out stronger after that. Still, it needs a huge improvement to play Inter in the derby, although Milan have been up for big games. Unfortunately, Fofana is out for a derby because he got a yellow card. That has me slightly worried. 2 second-half penalty goals give Roma a comeback win at Udinese, who led through a Lorenzo Lucca goal at halftime. Lorenzo Lucca, of course, linked with Roma currently. However, the first penalty was a rather contentious one because Pellegrini plays the ball back, and I don't know, Udinese's defender just has his arm on Pellegrini and hits him here. Was a rather odd one. Pellegrini slots it home in the 50th minute, and then Dovbyk is brought down by the goalie and converts the ensuing penalty. So, huge win for Roma, who keep climbing closer and closer to the European spots. Meanwhile, Inter show no weakness at Lecce. This could have gotten really ugly for Lecce, who tried to play with Inter, but Inter is just so clinical. Fratesi, or in the 6th minute, gave them the lead. Another Fratesi goal was disallowed for an offside. However, Lautaro Martinez with a thunderous shot in the 39th minute gets it for the 2-0. What also impresses me with Inter is that Inzaghi always changes his squad. Have to prepare for the Champions League game. However, you keep Thuram and Lautaro on the pitch. Second half, Denzel Dumfries, who is in crazy goal scoring force, and Meditarame with a penalty make it a rather resounding 4-0 scoreline. Inter staying just behind Napoli and have a better goal difference. Fiorentina also get back to winning ways. Huge 2-1 away win at Lazio in two teams that were the surprises of kind of the first half of the season and have both gone a little bit sideways. Fiorentina definitely healing skis. There's some internal turmoil as well. However, in the 11th and the 70th minute, Adli and Beltran put Fiorentina on the winning path. They played actually quite well. Adli had to come off them, but was given also a second yellow card and is missing now the next game. Not a smart move there. Very late on, Marusic pulls one back and Lazio even close to getting the equalizer in stoppage time in Milan style. However, they cannot do it, and so it all again falls a little bit Milan's way. Serie A treated us to two games on Monday evening, however, not two bangers, also has to be said. We had a relegation fight between the Venezia and Verona, a V derby if you would like, where Venezia again cannot hold on to a lead through Zerbin in the 28th minute. Verona getting the equalizer in the 76th minute through Chachua. Very interesting goal because Sar first mishits the ball, but it falls to Chachua, who from an acute angle can put it in. This allows Verona to move out of the relegation zone. Venezia still, well, I like how they play. They just don't pick up enough points, and that's not gonna bode well for their survival in Serie A. Meanwhile, after a brief resurgence, Monza also seem more or less down and out. Yes, Genoa, a much improved side under Vieira and should have taken the lead in the first half. However, a Pinamonti penalty is saved. In the second half, Genoa's might comes through. The Winter gets the go-ahead goal for the Genoese side, and then Vasquez heads it in the 84th minute to secure the win. Genoa relatively safe in midfield at this moment, whereas Monza really, their stint in Serie A might come to an end this season. If we look now at the table, I don't want to go on a real deep dive as I've gone over the past few weeks, but I want to point out that Napoli's chances of winning the title are getting bigger and bigger because they really beat some big opponents as of late, whereas Inter had a rather easier schedule, so Napoli's claim gets stronger and stronger. It all looks like it's gonna come down to the showdown in Naples. On the bottom, as I said in the opener, we have Venezia and Monza crystallize themselves as two teams that most likely will go down, and then I honestly have to say I'm worried about Parma. Parma are a nice side to watch, but they're way too open, so I would actually think that Parma might be the third side going down, although none of these teams down there fill me with a whole lot of confidence. On the upcoming weekend, we have a relegation battle between Parma and Lecce. Will tell us a whole lot about these two teams or not. They might again settle for a draw. Same thing goes for Monza and Hellas Verona in the early kickoff on Saturday. However, I really have to say I'm so annoyed with the scheduling in Serie A. The Milan derby not only has the earlier kickoff at 6 o'clock, and I cannot watch it because I'm in the stadium watching my LUSK, but it is followed then by Roma Napoli. So two huge games back to back. Why not put one on Saturday evening? The Milan derby, both teams playing the Champions League. It would be perfect for a Saturday evening matchup. And so we get Bologna against Como. Yeah, it's nice for Bologna to wrap up 3 points there. Atalanta Torino, there was something, yeah, but Atalanta should win that one as well. But it's those games that I'm really watching. I also have a little eye on Fiorentina against Genoa, because Genoa have so much stabilized, and this Fiorentina team, I'm still not sure how stable they are. So those were my thoughts on the Serie A weekend. Loads of headlines being made. I think Napoli's performance was really impressive. Milan, yeah, crazy game, but at least they won it. Inter, keep winning, keep winning. I forgot to tell you that Inter at the moment, if you look at actual goals and XG, Inter the most overperforming side in Europe. That tells also a little bit of story. Inter were not that convincing over the past few weeks as well. In any way, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like these. And I'll talk to you next week about more things in my Serie A universe. Bye! Hey there! I really hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, here are some videos and playlists that you may enjoy too. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the little bell icon so you get notified whenever something happens in my soccer universe. And with that, have a wonderful day. Bye!